Dave Brat on the line. Dave, Merry Christmas. Savior's coming. Born on Thursday, Dave. Merry Christmas to you, your wonderful wife, Laura, your kids, and all the Brat clan. Good to have you, Dave.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, brother, and everybody out there. God bless you. Thank you.
Well, Dave, here we are, December 22nd. Thank you for joining us. And of course, Dave's opinions are his own. He is a senior leadership official with Liberty University, PhD in economics, former professor of economics, former dean of the business school in Liberty, former congressman. Lots of titles Dave's got. But Dave, Trump's speech, we kind of forgot about it on, I guess it was Thursday night, right? Or Wednesday night. We all kind of forgot about his speech, talking about some of the economic successes that he's had, kind of talked about what he did, what he's going to do going forward. And I just want to get your take. This 2026 midterms they're going to be wholly dependent on the economy. What do you see happening here in the next 6 months, Dave, Brat?
Yeah, well, and I agree with that, but the economy plus, and I'd add a little of the cultural stuff in there, that the AmFest and all that over the last few days, net, I agree with you in the short run, but we got to get through that conversation. Holy moly, if we don't sort that thing out, that's splitting everybody. And so, Trump, when he had the economy plus the 20 million border invasion, which is certainly part of the economy, that we need to get back to the bread and butter issues like that, and chart a course. And the problem is the country, by the day, we're now in charge of the FBI and the Justice Department and all this, and there's just stuff stacking up. People don't buy the official narrative on the Charlie assassination. They don't buy the official thing on the Trump assassination. They don't buy the thing on what in the world is taking by all these assassinations in the countries and shootings. They can't get their act together and shoot straight. And the Epstein files and the lack of transparency and whatever. And that's the key. Everyone is waiting on Trump to restore justice. If he puts his foot down, and he may, I've heard you keep waiting and hoping. But all these things are tied together from Russiagate and the files back there from the UK and Britain and the FBI and the CIA. Those still have not been adjudicated. No one's gone to jail for anything. And so hopefully Bondi is it's a conspiracy charge, or it's kind of like a racketeering thing where you got to show in law, and that's not easy to do on some of this stuff. You got to have the evidence ready to go. And on some of this stuff, we didn't have our ducks in order yet. But I think it's the economy plus that. The people want to see the deep state get crushed. Otherwise, we're right back in the soup. If Trump ever loses or we ever lose the House, we're back in the soup because we know how the Democrats are going to roll, and they roll hard.
Well, that's my fear, Dave. And, I was disappointed in the healthcare debacle, as everybody knows. But,
Yeah.
I'm a team player. It is what it is. We still have no healthcare plan. Rates are going up. That's going to be an issue. And Trump said it the other night in Rocky Mount. They're going to shut the government down again on 131. And there's nothing we can do about it except break the filibuster. They're going to shut it down. Look, Dave, if you and I were now consultants, high-level consultants for the Democrats in 26,
Yep.
Our advice would be shut this thing down, make it over Obamacare subsidies, make it over healthcare, shut it down, make them feel pain, make everybody feel pain, tank the GDP. We're going to win in a landslide if we do this. Is that not right?
Yeah, no, that's right. And there is a clever move I heard by someone who was putting together maybe a bill where the Democrats sign on that, hey, if we don't end the filibuster, you have to sign in law that the filibuster will not be ended during the next 4-year presidency, no matter who it is. And I thought that was pretty clever because otherwise we're going to be forced into, we have to get rid of it, right? Because the Democrats, when you see people like Mamdani and Omar and Minneapolis, and this stuff going on. I mean, breaking the filibuster, that's not, that's a Sunday school lesson compared to some of the corruption going on out there. And they don't care. And so they do not have respect for the rule of law right now on the far left. All political views are my own. But, I mean, you can just see it across all these cities, right? I mean, they're attacking ICE officers. Those are clearly under Article 2 of the President of the United States. And they're attacking our officers on the streets. And we got it's all on video for everybody to see, not to mention the harassment they're putting up with. And the mayors and Pritzker and all these folks are celebrating all of it. They're hey, this is great. Trump's fascist. He's coming in here and arresting people who are here illegally. That's the key. Trump needs to emphasize that every day. Do you know what the word illegal means? It means they're breaking the law. And we better get our ducks straight. And the American people want to see a lot more folks in some of these precincts deported, especially right when they're in the ICE officer space. They ought to go home immediately, right? The folks that are flaunting the law. I mean, my word, what are you waiting for? And then I don't know whether I mentioned on your show the other day, but I'd also like to see, Trump had reciprocal tariffs. I'd also like to see reciprocal human rights, that you don't get to come to this country and use our free speech, free press, free religion, unless your country offers that to our citizens, right? We have no such rights in most of the countries on the earth, right under the United Nations Human Rights Charter. And so, it's just like it's analogous to the tariff thing. Trump slaps high tariffs on them, and tariffs end up going lower. And on the human rights front, if Trump gets serious on this and says, nope, no one's coming from any countries until you have reciprocal human rights agreements with us written in paper. And because that clears up a lot of the Islamic issues and clears up, the folks who say, oh, no, they're all good intention versus the folks who are very scared in many communities, Dearborn and Minneapolis and all this. And the human rights, that's a clean golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's clearly the golden rule. And I hope the president will jump on that, because that's just a clean way of adjudicating all this where he can look good by appealing to human rights.
No question about it. Dave, I got to go to a break. Stay with us. When I get back, I want to talk about the inflation numbers for November, what that means going forward, and how we're going to get out of this situation we're in right now, which is the economy doing better, but people not feeling the benefits of it. Dave, stay with us, okay?
Yep, you bet.
You're on Outside the Beltway. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your blowtorch of free speech in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to all. And Savior is coming. Savior is born, and we're looking forward to that. Would certainly help if I had this microphone on. Had some camera issues that I think we got fixed here today. For those of you that joined us late, we got Dave Brat with us. David Jones is going to be with us. He's running for governor of Maine. He's going to be with us in a couple minutes. 888-480-JOHN. 888-480-JOHN. And if you want to weigh in. Meantime, this segment brought to you by Engineer Tax Services and my good friend Julio Gonzalez. Well, they just saved us what we think is going to be about $15,000 in 2025 taxes by looking at our 24 taxes. Now, we got a great accountant, but the tax code is 2 million pages. It's all new with one big, beautiful bill. And he found about $15,000 of savings that we simply would not have taken advantage of because we don't know. And even though we got a really good accountant and he does a good job for us, it's really not about that. It's very difficult. So, look, if you run a business or anything, you have any complicated taxes other than basically Social Security or something, I mean, you definitely want Julio to look at it. They don't charge anything. So here's what I want you to do. Take your 24 taxes and send it to him. And he's going to be able to do an evaluation right now and tell you what savings you might have been able to have that you guys didn't catch. Or you can send them your 2025 taxes, but send them to him before you file them. So do them a little bit early. Send them to Julio. They'll look it over. This is free. They don't charge you a dime. They take 5 to 10% of whatever your savings is. Really brilliantly done. And then they give it back to you. You decide what to do. And I mean, look, they saved us what we think is going to be $15,000. That's a lot of money. That's big. That's because just taking advantage of everything out there that you just don't see because it's so complicated. So all you got to do is text the letters ETS, that's Engineered Tax Services, ETS, to the number 26786, to the number 26786, ETS, to the number 26786. And they're going to get in touch with you, no obligation, and you go from there. But if they can save us $15,000, goodness knows what they're going to be able to save you for no money, right? You only give them a percentage of what you save, and who wouldn't do that, right? Save 15,000, give them 1,500. I'll sign up for that all day. ETS, text that to the number 26786, 26786, and you're good to go, right? Great to have you with us. As always, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Finishing up here with Dave Brat. So, Dave, we got pretty good inflation numbers in November. Don't really know what October is because the government was shut down. Is this a one-off? Does it look like things might be, prices might be coming down a little bit, Dave? What's your take, Dr. Dave Brat?
Yeah, well, I looked up the other day. The mainstream media will not teach you any economics, and so in a nutshell, if you open up any standard economics book, or if you just go out and do Grok or Google on the Federal Reserve, the past former Reserve chair or vice chair up at Princeton, Professor Blinder, he's got in quotes, monetary policy and fiscal policy both have long-run lags, agreeing with Milton Friedman in its 2 to 3 year range. So, you know, unfortunately, politics dominates everything right now, and everything's on social media and it's warp speed, but that doesn't change economics. It takes 2 or 3 years for fiscal policy to take effect and for monetary policy to take its full effect. So we're still living under Biden inflation for real, right? We've gone over it a million times on the show. Prices went up 21% under his watch. Now prices are going to come down because of what Trump's doing. And the main thing people don't tell you about inflation coming down is it's the work of the Federal Reserve largely, right? But it's also linked to productivity. As productivity goes up, you make more stuff with less hours, and that puts downward pressure on prices. And Trump is bringing in, $15 trillion in capital investment over the next years, but it's going to be years, right? Well, so what would you choose? Someone who brought in no capital investment and gave you 21% inflation, or someone who's now in the 2 to 3% inflation range and bringing in huge capital investment so your economy can grow? And so on prices, that's your choice. In addition, Trump's added on the energy policy piece, which is huge, right? Energy runs every part of your life. Every truck you see when we just drove up to South Bend to visit family, and there's trucks all the way along the way, right? What do you think those things are running on? They're involved in every delivery of every Christmas present. And if you bring the price of oil and gasoline down, that has huge ripple effects. And Dave Walsh, the former CEO of Mitsubishi, powers on the shows often. And, when he says, you just saw it, you can't make this stuff up. You just saw it yesterday. The lights went out in San Francisco for who knows why. But get ready for that, right? This is the left. You can tell what's coming, right? When you see whatever happens in San Fran is going to happen to you 5 years from now. But he says this solar and wind thing, which even Bill Gates now says, oops, we might have overdone it because now they need high-power energy plants to power all their AI. But we had non-continuous power in about 60% of our energy. Wind and solar, it only works when it works, and you can't save it, and you can't bank it. And so we were, and this was all under the European planning from the central committees on high, the deep state, the globalists. It's as clear. I think everybody's starting to see that now. And in England, in France and Germany, they're waking up, and the elites are getting scared for what's coming next because they know the people now see clearly. And so, that's a summary kind of overview of inflation, prices, affordability is also linked to 20 million illegal immigrants. When you got 20 illegal immigrants, 20 million coming in, they're all made in the image of God. But when they're getting government subsidies and government paid for hotels and government paid for housing vouchers, that puts upward pressure on houses. And no wonder the 20 and 30-year-olds are getting really ticked off like at CPUSA. They're ticked, and for good reason.
So what's your prognostication for 2026 economically for the United States?
I'd say roughly what it is now, right? You've heard me. The long-run productivity is down for the past 70 years, and it's at 1.7% from Congressional Budget Office. That's what you're growing at. That's what wages should be growing at, 1.7 for the next 30 years. And so the fact that Trump's got us at 3.5 real GDP growth, that's after inflation, from the Atlanta Fed now. You can go Google it. They're the best, that's the Federal Reserve System, but they're the more real-world variety, and they got us at 3.5% growth right now. So if we can maintain inflation where it is and maybe a hair lower, and then keep that growth, boy, that, in spite of what Biden gave us, that's a very good achievement.
Well, that's what we got to target. I know
Right.
Kevin Hastert. Looks like Kevin Hastert is very likely to be the new Fed chair. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's great. He's good, and the other guy was good at the Fed. He's way better than the other ones. But the problem is the Fed. I mean, and you can mark my words on this, right? I like Hastert or whatever, but he's going to be a marginal player, right? He might move marginally, like another 0.25% more rate cuts than the on average guy. When the problem is the Federal Reserve needs to be annihilated, right? It needs to be done away with. You need a return to Milton Friedman and a flat monetary rule. No discretion for the elites. Discretion means you get to make it up. So what no one caught lately is supposedly J.P. Morgan, right, the largest bank, Diamond, they're upside down on repos. And you can go Google this stuff. I'm no expert on repos. But they're upside down in some financial troubles. And so the Fed, in addition to lowering rates, guess what they started doing? Partly for J.P. Morgan, they did monetary easing again, right? Quantitative easing, which also will lower rates and help businesses. But in that case, it helps Wall Street again after we promised it's time for Main Street. And so no matter what the new Fed guys do, they better get a big megaphone and they better get Trump on the job. Otherwise, they're not doing their job. If they just, let's lower rates a little bit more, while with the other hand, they're rigging it for Wall Street, which is what they're doing right now, it's not good.
How big is our healthcare risk?
Oh, it's not even a risk. It's guaranteed, right? Medicare and Social Security are bankrupt in 7 years. So it's a done deal. The people just don't want to see it, and they don't want to vote. Accordingly, they're bankrupt, and Mamdani says, let's give more public services, and wins an election, right? And so that's, the left, they just keep promising more and more and more. Well, we're already bankrupt. It's a done deal. It's just like the debt. And so it's always my shout out the pastors. I did a segment the other day on Jerry Falwell Sr. and Pat Robertson, Dobson, and they saved the day for Reagan. And the evangelicals and the Catholics and whatever have plenty of Christians in this country to save the country at the voting box the right way, ethically, and they're not showing up. And so that's at Christmas time, you better get serious on what Christmas is really about, right? And it's definitely linked to the constitutional structure of our country, right? The Christ comes, and within 400 years of Jesus, the Roman Empire, 300 years after, is Christian through Constantine, and Christ did that somehow without being overtly political. But his message was very political. It's all of you matter. All you matter. Rome was persecuting and hanging people and crucifying people on the sides of the roads. Into the depths of human depravity in Rome and political violence comes a message of love and peace from the Son of God. And that has, if you believe that, it has huge political implications, not of the gross kind, of the greatest kind. How do you live together? And our nation has offered that for a couple hundred years, but we're getting weak. We're getting really weak.
Dave Brat, thank you for joining us today. Always enjoy you, Dave.
You bet.
And enjoy your perspective. And we've been very good friends a long time. My love to Laura and your family, and we'll see you soon. Very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to Dave Brat. Dave, thank you.
Yep. Merry Christmas, everybody. God bless you. See you, John.
All right, enjoy it. We're going to be right back with Dave Smith. He's running for Maine governor. Stay with us.